Here we go. Welcome into the show. This is Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. So glad that you're hanging out here with me, and there's a lot to get to on today's show. One of the top prospects in the 2025 NFL Draft, Abdul Carter, the edge rusher out of Penn State, said this week he wants to be a Philadelphia Eagle. Is there any chance that Howie Roseman would be able to make that happen? We have some impactful stats for Rams Eagles. We're going to compare these two rosters. And then lastly, how the Eagles can fix their passing game. That is a must in this game against Los Angeles coming up on Sunday. Before we uncover and talk about all of that, an updated look at our road toward 100,000 subscribers. We've picked up so many subs this month, leading the entire company at Chat Sports for the most subscribers picked up over the last month. Let's continue to keep it moving forward, and let's get that silver plaque from YouTube. 527 real ones away from 100K. If you want Eagles coverage every single day, this is your go-to spot. Lock us in and hit that sub button. As for Abdul Carter, really good season for Penn State, able to make it into the college football playoff with that expanded bracket. They're able to beat SMU at home. Boise State should have taken down Notre Dame. They were the better team, should have stuck with the run. Drew Aller threw that awful pick late in the game to pave way for that Notre Dame field goal at the end of the game. But one of the bright spots this year for Penn State, among many of the bright spots, on a team led by James Franklin that is loaded with NFL talent, the play of Abdul Carter and the growth of Abdul Carter. He is one of my favorite players in this 2025 NFL draft class, and when you scout him, he's so special. I think that he could go number one. I think he's going to be a top 5 pick, no doubt about it. He is 6'3". Now, Penn State lists him at 252 pounds. I'm calling cap on that. I think he's a little bit lighter. So if there's a concern for him, it's adding some weight. But the Philadelphia native just switched to edge rusher this year after being an off-ball linebacker prior to that, and he played spectacular. One of the top defensive players in the entire nation. He has burst. He has twitch, he has speed, he has bend, he has physicality to win at the attack. He dominated in that game against Notre Dame. Fighting Irish had no answers. He was all over Riley Leonard in the backfield. And this season, first year as an edge rusher, let me emphasize that once again, he had 12 sacks, 43 hurries, and an overall Pro Football Focus grade of 91.2. He said this week now that his season is over and he's preparing for the draft. Yeah, for sure. Playing for the Eagles would definitely be a dream of mine. He grew up in Philly. He went to LaSalle College. That's where he played high school. Unfortunately for the Eagles, I think he's going to go top 3, top 5. He could go number 1, even though I think the Tennessee Titans might go quarterback, Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, and I don't think that even Howie Roseman can pull that off. But the hometown kid wanting to play for the Eagles, if he ever gets that opportunity, that would be a cool story. As for some impactful stats for Rams Eagles in the divisional round, we put up a 20-plus minute preview on the channel yesterday. Be sure to check that video out. And I just want to pass along some chat stats on top of what we discussed during that preview. How about this? So the Eagles are 5.5-point favorites, or 6-point favorites, against the Rams. And Nick Sirianni in his career is 25-5 straight up as a 5.5-point favorite or higher, and the Eagles are giving 6 to the Los Angeles Rams. The Eagles are also 6-0 at home in the divisional round games in franchise history. So when they host a divisional round game in South Philadelphia, they are undefeated and perfect at 6-0. This is also the first time, believe it or not, that the Eagles have hosted both a wild card game and a divisional round game in the same playoff run. So this is something that we're seeing for the first time. Since the turn of the century, the Eagles have had so much success as an organization, and since 2000, they've been able to go to 7 NFC championship games, 3 Super Bowls, and they've had so much playoff success. But this is the first time, despite all that success in the regular season and in the playoffs, that they will host a wild card game and a divisional game. And when I think about this game from a macro standpoint, from the bird's eye view, are the Rams dangerous? Yes, they are. Are they well coached? No doubt about it. Matthew Stafford, can he still sling it? No doubt. That Rams young defense, they've been firing. And over the last 2 months, they have played unbelievable football, holding teams to under 10 points regularly. But the Eagles in this game have the rest advantage. Rams played on Monday night. They have to travel across the country. The Eagles have the talent edge. No doubt about that. They're faster, more premier players all across the roster. The Eagles are also at home. There could be snow on Sunday. It's going to be cold. I think the weather favors the Eagles. And the odds makers like Philadelphia by a pretty wide margin. They're 6-point favorites. They opened up as 3.5-point favorites against the Packers, and then everybody started smashing that, and it went up to 5.5, 6 points. The Eagles opened up as 6-point favorites, and as of this recording on this beautiful Wednesday, January 15th, that line has not moved. Elliott Shore Park of 94 WIP, the Go Birds podcast, put out this graphic here comparing the Eagles roster to the Rams roster. And I just wanted to pass that along because I think it's a pretty good breakdown here. So at the quarterback position, and you see there are 3 tiers, right? Elite, average, and bad. He has the Rams having the slight edge over the Eagles at the quarterback spot. So Matthew Stafford over Jalen Hurts. If you were to ask any general manager in the NFL, who would you rather have at quarterback, Stafford or Hurts to win one game? I think all 32 GMs would pick Matthew Stafford. So I'll agree there. At the running back spot, Eagles get the edge. And I think it's a pretty sizable edge. Kyron Williams is a good back. Rams don't really generate a lot of explosive runs. So I'll go wide margin Eagles running back at that position. At tight end, Tyler Higbee a good player, but he's always hurt. And he's injured going into this game. Dallas Goedert, when he's utilized, is an awesome pass catcher. And as a blocker, he's better than Higbee and the backup tight end in Colby Parkinson. And so I'm going Eagles, edge, tight end. Wide receiver. Cooper Kupp is not the same guy. And the Rams are pretty thin at wideout. Puka Nacua is a dog. Demarcus Robinson's a really good red zone threat. But outside of Puka Nacua, the Rams are pretty thin at wideout given the downslope that Cooper Kupp has been on this year. Still had 100 targets, but the production's been down. And so I think the Eagles have the better wide receiver room. By a wide margin, Eagles along the offensive line. Defensive line, Elliott Shore Parks is going Rams here. I'm actually going to go Eagles. Braden Fisk and Jared Verse, really good young players. Bryant Young, also a really good player. But I think this Eagles defensive line has been tremendous this year, and they have the best player in Jalen Carter. Nolan Smith has been great. He had more sacks than Jared Verse this season. 2 against the Green Bay Packers. He was all over the yard. Linebacker, even without Nakobe Dean, I'll go Eagles there. Cornerback, safety, Eagles are no doubt better. And at coach, Elliott Shore Parks says Nick Sirianni just ahead of Sean McVay. McVay has the Super Bowl win. He's won double-digit games in 6 of 8 years. More of a track record of success. So it's kind of 50-50 there, but because McVay has the Super Bowl and he's been there twice, Sirianni has been there once, didn't get the ring, I might go McVay there. If you think the Eagles will beat the Rams, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. If you really want to show off some swagger and you're feeling good about yourself, you can type BLA or FLA down in the comment section as well. Our sponsor for today's show, our friends at Game Time. If you want to go to this game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Los Angeles Rams, plenty of tickets available to experience an incredible atmosphere at Lincoln Financial Field. Growing up, one of my fondest memories as an Eagles fan was going to the 2004 NFC Championship game when the Eagles, after 3 straight NFC title game losses, finally got over the hump, taking down Michael Vick that day to punch their ticket to Super Bowl 39. They lost to the New England Patriots, but for the Eagles to make it to a Super Bowl and to witness that, pandemonium at the Lincoln South Philly that day. And hopefully it's going to be pandemonium once again against the Rams. Rams, warm weather climate, they play indoors. They see opposing fans take over their own stadium. Are they ready for an atmosphere like this when it's also going to be cold and potentially snowy? Make some noise at the game and buy your tickets with Game Time. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. See the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Thanks to Game Time Picks, you don't have to sort through thousands of tickets. They will give you the best seats with the best vantage point and the best price point. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. What time is it? Game time. To the back half of the show. In this game against the Los Angeles Rams, the Eagles must fix their passing game this week. And the passing concepts and the routes were way too simple and predictable against the Packers in the wild card round. And isn't this crazy considering Jalen Hurts is one of the top deep ball throwers in the NFL? He took one shot of 20-plus yards against the Packers. I don't know how this happens either. A.J. Brown had one catch against Green Bay for 10 yards. The Eagles this season ranked 14th in passing DVOA. They were the number 2 rushing attack in the league, with Saquon Barkley leading the league in rushing. So that's going to knock down the passing game a little bit, but that's not good enough in my opinion with all of this talent and with what we've seen from Jalen Hurts in his career. On one side, Hurts has eliminated the turnovers that killed this offense early this year. The downside of that, he's been a little bit more passive, and the Eagles' pass game hasn't been as aggressive. The Eagles ran for 307 yards against the Rams in Week 12. The Rams are going to load up the line of scrimmage, and they're not going to let Saquon Barkley beat them. So the Eagles will have to find success through the air, and that passing game is going to have to be reminiscent of what they did against the Pittsburgh Steelers a few weeks ago. The Rams also missed the 7th most tackles this year. Get A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith isolated with yak opportunities. Guess who is also a yak machine? We saw that last week with that mean bully ball run and the angry run from Dallas Goedert. Goedert can pick up yak. So for Kellen Moore, get creative with how you scheme up the pass game. A.J. Brown is 28th in targets per game, yet yards per target, he is first. You target him, he wins one-on-one battles because he's so physical and fast. And the Eagles' pass game against Green Bay is just not going to get it done. If this carries over, Devontae Smith, 4 catches, 55 yards. Dallas Goedert, 4 catches for 47 and a tutty. Jahan Dotson, lone catch was that touchdown on the first drive. A.J. Brown, top 5 wide receiver, 1 catch in the game. I know he's injured, but come on. Greg Calcaterra, 1 catch for 4. So was the game plan conservative because of Hurts' concussion? Yeah. Might be the reason why Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore went with a more conservative, vanilla game plan. Was the game plan through the air conservative, knowing that the Eagles' defense was playing lights out, and Moore and Sirianni knew we don't have to do much or take many chances because of how the defense is playing. Defense, special teams combining for 4 forced turnovers. Yeah, there could be a talking point behind that and reasoning behind that as well. Also on the same note, while the pass game wasn't good enough, there were some positives from Hurts' performance. How about how he fared against the blitz? 3 of 5, 62 yards, and a passer rating of 143.3. Now those numbers, according to Pro Football Focus, I will say this. The Packers had 7 along the line of scrimmage on that Dallas Goedert touchdown. Hurts audibled at the line, got rid of it quickly, knowing pressure could come, and then Goedert did the rest. As for how Hurts fared in the second half, in the first half, he had not played for a month. He had to shake off some rust, knock off the cobwebs. After recess, though, 7 of 8, 92 yards, a touchdown, and a passer rating of 154.2. He also thoroughly outplayed Jordan Love, and a lot of people out there will always try to say, Jordan Love, he's better than Jalen Hurts. Cap, stop it. So the Eagles have the talent to throw it. Don't let this be your undoing. Don't let this keep you from winning the Super Bowl, because we know it's possible. We know what Jalen Hurts is capable of throwing it. Look at what he did in the Super Bowl. Look at what he did in the 2022 MVP season. Look at what he did a couple of weeks ago against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We know what A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith can do. And this has been a problem that the Eagles are cognizant of. And so if you're aware of it, you have to fix it and make some adjustments. The good sign with that being said is that Kellen Moore, Jalen Hurts, and Nick Sirianni know this. And in this Nick Sirianni era, the Eagles have done a great job of making adjustments in-game and from game to game. If you're still rocking with us here on the show, Real One Roll Call. Type Real One down below. Go Birds. And don't forget to hit that sub button.